Ladies and lads, welcome to another video. My name is Spag. I hope you're all doing well. Now, Tekken 8 has been revealed, of course, and we're getting more and more details as we get more trailers coming out on the actual details of the game, specifically about the mechanics. However, there are some things that I really want to see implemented into Tekken 8 in order to give it a longer lifespan. You know, looking at Tekken 7, it's a game that did really well, but I feel like there are still things that were missing from the game, things which would make the grind aspect more fun, something that would make people want to log into the game every single day just to at least play a little bit. These are the things that I want to talk about that I think, if added into Tekken 8, would give the game a longer lifespan and ultimately be more fun for pros and for the casuals. Now, starting off with number 1, we have useful in-game currency. Now, this is the big one. I really feel like the in-game currency in Tekken should be useful. Right now, people have maxed out their cash and it can't be used for anything since you already unlock all the items in the game after 1,000 matches played. However, imagine the currency could be used to purchase loot boxes where you could get customization items in categories such as common, rare and ultra rare. This would encourage players to play daily and weekly in order to get as much in-game currency as possible to potentially get some of those rare customization items. Now, I understand that people aren't fans of microtransactions, but as far as this idea goes, it would totally be in-game play for in-game currency, no buying necessary. Imagine having a 1 in 10,000 rarity shower head that you could flex on people online. You know, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about getting using your in-game currency that you grinded for through multiple modes in Tekken, using that currency to buy these boxes, having a hype little stream or video made opening these things and getting purely cosmetic items. You know, we're not talking about anything that enhances the gameplay at all, but just cosmetics. And then let's say if you manage to get that really rare item, right? There's even a customization from Tekken 5 called Toto the cat. You know, imagine having the cat custom as well, and everybody gets mad hype. Yo, I got the cat. You know, something like this really would, I think, encourage people to play the game a lot more daily and weekly as well to complete these challenges, get the items for the currency. All right, coming in at number 2, we have a buffed tournament mode. Now, Tekken 7 introduced a tournament mode whereby you could create a double or single elimination tournament for up to 8 people and play for in-game currency and items. However, I think it would be awesome that if in Tekken 8 the tournament mode allowed for a larger number of people, let's say 32, and able to join with regular scheduled daily 1v1 and 3v3 tournaments that people could play for in-game rewards, titles and currency. For example, there are some games like Rocket League where if you enter these daily scheduled tournaments, if you win, you're given currency and given a special title which says tournament winner. And just something like that would be super I think hype for people to play every single day, something to get people logged in daily and say, okay, do you know what, it's 9 PM for the scheduled 1v1 tournament. And talking about the 3v3 tournament, I mean, there has not been a team aspect to Tekken for a really long time. They used to have team battle in the older Tekkens, and I think that was really popular with a lot of the casual and pro players, and I think that if they brought it back to have a 3v3 scheduled tournament every day where you could play with your friends, it kind of gives that social aspect. So 3v3 tournament, I really feel like would be super hype and getting people playing the game very regularly as well, especially if there is in-game currency which was useful that you could earn by actually playing it as well. Moving swiftly on to number 3, we have better customization mode. Now, one thing I really liked about Tekken Tag 2 was the customization mode. If you search on YouTube, you'd find a ton of really creative customs that people have made of anime characters, comic book heroes, and other crazy stuff. Tekken 7's was less comprehensive though. It had a lot less options due to eliminating the decal system, but I do hope they do something to allow people to be creative with customs again. I know that Soul Calibur, with the new game they came out with, had a really crazy customization mode that people were able to use and be very creative with. So I'm hoping that Tekken 8 does have more options for customization, because I think that it was something that was very popular with people back in the older Tekken games. Right, on to number 4, we have Scenario Campaign Multiplayer. Now, the Scenario Campaign mode is actually in the game back in Tekken 6. It was something that people could play with each other without having to play the typical 1v1. you know, online. And this was really popular, I feel like, back in Tekken 6. People were able to grind the game together in order to get in-game currency and items and stuff. And you know, I low-key think that this was something that people really enjoyed. Maybe you guys even remember back in Tekken 3, the Tekken Force mode. This type of mini game has always been very popular with the casuals and even the pro players. And I feel like that in Tekken 8, it could be something that people could grind for in-game coins to again buy customs and loot boxes. Basically any mode that would allow people to play the game outside of the typical 1v1 is always going to be super beneficial. And I think, personally, I think that the scenario campaign mode would just be something that's perfect to meet that goal. Alright, and last but not least, we have detailed tutorial mode. Now I really think I would have got beaten up if I didn't actually add this one in, man. I think everyone has been asking for this for such a long time. Look, we all know that Tekken is a pretty complicated game if you're a new player that wants to get into it, right? Tekken 7 did a really good job in kind of easing down the barrier of entry with certain things. You know, we talk about movement and we're talking about the, you know, throw breaking and other things, right? So it did do a much better job with letting newer players get in and get good pretty quickly compared to old Tekken games. But I still think that something like a tutorial mode, a detailed tutorial mode, is very necessary. We're talking about things that go, a tutorial that goes over the concept of punishment, frames, and movement. These are, like, I think the most important things in Tekken, especially movement, right? Consider the case of, for example, the tutorial mode giving you the option to train your Korean backdashes. That, you know, if you complete 2 or 3 of them in a row, you know, you get, you know, you complete the challenge, right? So this is something that I think other games do really well. I was lucky enough to be able to play Multiverses before the game even dropped. You know, I played that game and I got to go through the tutorial mode. I'm not really good at these kind of you know, party games and stuff, but I was able to learn quite a lot by just going through the in-game tutorial mode. There's so many things about Tekken that people don't really understand, and the game doesn't teach you, that you need to learn from, you know, pro players or people that have knowledge, right? And I don't think that should be necessarily the case. I think that the game should be able to teach you some really fundamental things, and I think movement, punishment are among the top 2 things that need to be taught by the game, and can definitely be done quite easily, right? So hopefully that will be something that can be added into the game as well for Tekken 8, so we can get newer players involved in the game and improving very quickly, so that our community ends up growing. Alright, ladies and lads, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the suggestions that I made here for Tekken 8. Do you agree with them? Do you disagree? And, you know, do you have any other suggestions that you think that would definitely help Tekken 8 to have a longer life cycle and just be overall more fun for everybody to play? You know, definitely interested to hear your thoughts. But that's going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and of course subscribe to the channel as well, because there's a lot of interesting content coming here for the tournament season, and of course just for Tekken 8 stuff in general. Ladies and lads, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Peace.